3.0 Ace here, and welcome back to another RiftGuides WildRift video. This time we actually got some nerfs to known criminals and we are happy to see those, but I don't think they're going to be enough. Anyway, let's go. In this patch we're only going to get 2 skins, but those skins are quite insane, so let's be honest and get your wallets ready. On the 24th of February you'll be seeing Dragon Slayer Olaf and Infernal Cannon. So with this massive release of skins out of the way, we can finally move on to the champion changes. The first champion on this list is Amumu, and here we have a change to his first ability. The range is increased from 8.5 to 9. This is not going to change anything, as it doesn't help him at all in the sense of why this champion struggles in the current meta game of the game, but it's still a nice buff, so people will perceive him as buffed and then might play him. But yet again, it's just a placebo buff, it doesn't really do anything. However, the next change is actually doing quite a lot. We have a change to Camille, 2 changes at least. Her second ability, Sweet Spot bonus, gets reduced by 2% across the ranks. That's quite insane during the laning phase, as this ability was really obnoxious to deal with. And the next change is to her ultimate ability. They just remove the flat damage of the ultimate and just make it deal more percentage damage of the current target's HP. Also, the zone duration is decreased in the early stages, but will remain the same time at the super late stage. So after hearing about this heartbreaking nerf to Camille, it's time for a short break and our question of the day. Are you watching the current EMEA Championship for WildRift? And if so, where do you watch it? In case you didn't know, Riot allowed us to co-cast the tournament, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for RiftGuides Championship coverage. The next change on this list comes to Draven, and here we have a change to his ultimate ability. The bonus AD ratio goes up from 110% to 130%. So if this guy hits you with both parts of his ultimate, you're most likely going to die. But there's one thing that isn't similar to League PC yet. On League PC, his ultimate deals bonus damage, or rather it executes people, depending on how many stacks Draven has. So if they were to add this to WildRift, we would see some very interesting Draven pickups in the near future. The next change comes to Gragas. His base armor goes up from 64 to 70. I would have rather seen like a base HP buff to this champion rather than armor, because the armor value doesn't change too much in direct comparison to the HP. I would have really liked to see scaling HP on this champion, but well, a buff is a buff, and we'll never complain about buffs, right? We always love buffs, but I don't think it's going to change too much. And finally, little Timmy's prayers have been heard. Jayce is getting nerfed. Can you hear this, guys? Jayce is actually getting nerfed, and it's not just our emotions or perception that Jayce is overtuned. Finally, we see some reaction to it. Number 1, he's losing some base stats. His base damage goes down from 58 to 52. Next to this, on his passive, the Hackstack Capacitor, the movement speed goes down from 40 to 30. And lastly, but surely not the least, his thirst ability, the Shock Blast, receives a minor nerf to its acceleration bonus damage from 50 to 40%. Let's be honest, this is not going to fix the champion. He is still going to be very overbearing, but it will slap the nerf label onto him, which might make him look a little bit better. But true Jayce players will be happy about this, because they'll be able to play this champion every single game now, because people will not ban him anymore because he's quote-unquote nerfed. Yet again, this nerf will be impactful to some degree, but it's not going to make the difference. This champion will still be overbearing and broken. The next change comes to Katarina, and I'm surely not happy about seeing a Katarina buff. The Death Lotus AP ratio goes up from 260 to 280%. I don't think this champion needs a buff, I just think people don't play it enough in solo queue, because in solo queue it's a very valid champion. And let's be honest, most of the time all you have to do is pick up Conqueror with a longsword and just all in the enemy level 2 or level 3 and you're going to win. Just most Katarina players don't know about this. And once you've won once, you'll kill them on cooldown and cooldown and cooldown and cooldown again. And if that wasn't enough, you just walk to other lanes and kill them as well. Dragon laners hate this trick. But now we come to a champion that every player hates, Lee-Sin, and Lee-Sin is getting finally a little nerf. Last time he got a minor buff, which didn't make any sense because his champion was broken, and just because he performed worse in the lower elo, he didn't really deserve a buff. Some champions will not have a higher win rate than lower elo, that's how it goes. So this time we see a nerf to his second ability, Safeguard. It goes up from 15 to 17 seconds cooldown. The next nerf comes to a champion that a lot of people started to like after the recent jungle buff. This time we are seeing a buff to her base stats in sense of armor from 30 to 35, but we see a nerf to 2 abilities at the same time. Number 1, her most damage dealing ability, Tormented Shadow. Its base damage is going to get reduced from 8 to 6, so basically 2 at every rank, which might not seem much, but if you think about the multiplicator, it's going to be crazy down the line. It's still a very valid nerf. The second nerf is to her ultimate ability. It goes down from 2% of a target's maximum HP per 100 AP to 1.5%. Next up we have the true loser of this patch, Sett. Not the one with the shurikens, but the one with the fists. His base stats get a major hit. Base AD goes down from 58 to 52, base bonus attack speed goes down from 20 to 10%, and the attack speed bonus per level down from 2.2 to 1.7%. If that wasn't enough, the right punch's bonus physical damage goes down from 6 times the level to 5 times the level. And beware, it's not enough yet. His first ability, Knuckle Down, is also receiving a nerf to jungle monsters. The bonus damage against monsters goes down from 200 to 100. This is a major nerf which will most likely impair his ability to do a 4-camp clear, which is a major nerf for solo queue. Great. And now let's move over to the last champion of this list. Here we have Vayne. Vayne is apparently dominating in high play recently. Well, this champion isn't bad and people used to die to it very often because Lulu makes her an absolute obnoxious type of champion. To deal with this a little bit more, Riot decided to nerf her Silver Bolts. The active healing goes down from 60% to 40% and the active cooldown goes up from 16 to 18. So we see a 2-second nerf to the active ability. I'll be honest, I don't think this is going to solve the problem of Vayne being overbearing once she's ahead. I think removing the active part of the ability would be the right approach, but that would change the core identity of WildRift Vayne and make her too much of a PC Vayne. With the balance changes out of the way, let's move over to the item changes. And here we have a change to Archangel's Staff and Sarah's Embrace. It's getting a nerf. Archangel's Staff is getting its ability haste reduced from 25 to 20, the same happens to Sarah's Embrace, and the lifeline shield value goes down from 50% of the current mana plus 150 to 15% of the current mana plus 100. This is a major nerf to the item, so from my perspective, they just want to put it in line with the Luden's Echo. The next change is something I also don't really understand, and it's going to be on lethality items or armor pen items. Serrated Dirk is getting its armor pen reduced from 10 to 8. The same happens through Edge of Night, and Yomu's Ghostblade and Umbra Glaive get a buff from 10 to 12. Here's my take on armor pen items. The moment you build an armor pen item, it loses its value super fast. So most of the time you just want the bonus effect of the item. And here's something a lot of people don't know about. On League PC, it's not armor pen, but lethality. So it's a little bit less armor pen in its scaling. But Serrated Dirk has 30 AD, and on WildRift it only has 20. That's a major difference. And if you take into account how fast you gain armor by leveling up and how fast you level up in this game, armor pen or typical armor pen loses its value pretty fast. And now we move over to the rune changes. If there was a loser in terms of runes, it's going to be Mastermind. This rune is going to get killed by Riot Games. The gold bonus from an objective kill goes down from 120 to 40. So unless you're playing a very specific champion that wants to demolish objectives, I very much think that we are going to see changes that people will take Pathfinder or Hunter Genius or anything along those lines over Mastermind. And for summoner spells, there's another nerf to Barrier. Barrier has been too powerful and too popular on every role. It's just a nice default pick. So as a consequence, the shield amount goes down from 115 to 465, which is 90 plus 25 per level, to 100 and 445. So 75 plus 25 per level. It's a nice nerf, but when people realize how broken Exhaust is, then they'll start thinking, maybe Exhaust isn't that bad and Barrier is just a nice default summoner where I don't know what to do. We'll see. And this is going to be the free-to-play champion rotation. From the 16th of February to the 20th of February, we have A.L.I.S.O.N, Evelynn, Morgana, Pantheon, Rakan, Rammus, Vayne, Veigar, Wukong, and Xayah. From the 20th to the 27th, we have Alistar, Corki, Jayce, Katarina, Cannon, Nunu and Willem, Orianna, Rengar, Senna, and Varus. That's it. So leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more RiftGuides content, and most importantly, check out the streams. Lots of fun, some occasional int, but a lot of relatability. Wait for you there, so see you.